Hello, I'm Ian from My Silent Wake, and this is my wife Sarah. She's going to be asking me a few questions for Antichrist Scene, and so welcome to this interview. Hope you enjoy it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yakida.
Yakida. Take it away, Sarah.
I shall do that. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Sarah.
Please can you introduce My Silent Wake to the subscribers of Antichrist?
My Silent Wake has been going 19 years, and it started with this EP, 2-track EP. The band started in the May of 2005. We put together a couple of songs, and I think we took about a day to record and mix this. Yeah, it was one day. And we sent it off to a few labels. We got signed to Bombworks Records, and by the end of the year we'd recorded our first album, which came out the next year. And fast forward to this year, we've just put this one out, our latest, which is on Ardua Music. The band has had a few changes over the years. I've been a constant member. We formed from the final lineup of Ashen Mortality, which were a British doom band, minus one member, and the latest lineup has been pretty stable, well, for a decade. The only member that came in and went back out again was another guitarist, Dave, but that was all amicable. Yeah, the band's been going for so long, it's hard to put it in a nutshell. We've done various gigs all over the place, and sometimes it's been quiet, sometimes we've been busier. We've all played in other bands. Some of our members still play in other bands, so every member of the band plays in other bands. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. So over to you, Sarah.
Smashing, thank you. And what is the meaning behind the name My Silent Wake?
Good question. We've been asked it many times, and I can never give a proper answer to that. I think when it was me that came up with it, so I'm sorry, but it had multiple meanings. Wake can be like, as in the sort of nautical wake, the wake from a boat or a ship, or a wake as in after a funeral, a gathering after a funeral. I just like the way the words flowed, but it's been a little bit of a rod for our own back. Having the word my and having the amount of syllables and the amount of words, we do get, very often we get compared to My Dying Bride, a band I obviously love, but we've put out albums that have sounded nothing like My Dying Bride, and we've still got compared to them. So yeah, it's been interesting. I think when you start a band and you get compared to bands you love, it's a real compliment and you're delighted, but after a while you want people to recognise that you've got your own sound. I think a lot of bands in various genres sound very similar, but I think when you're playing doom, for some reason people seem to expect each band to sound very different to each other. I don't know why that would be, but anyway. Excellent. That's enough of that.
And can you tell us a little bit about your new album, Lost in Memories, Lost in Grief? So beautiful.
The cover art is done by Matthew Bickerstaff, who has done cover art for us in the past. He always does a beautiful job. He's done work for My Dying Bride. Yeah, he's done work for various bands over the years, and he's a good friend as well. This was recorded May last year, and then we had a bit of time in between to record various sort of details for the album, solos and clean vocals and various keyboard parts, which were recorded at Simon's house, our keyboard and vocalist. Simon does the clean vocals on the album, I do the growls, I do some clean. But yeah, we recorded some parts at his house, and then we went back to mix in the September last year, and Then we did a label search and we found Ardua Music, who we've been very happy with. They're based in Spain, and the album's come out on vinyl, as you can see, clear vinyl, CD and cassette also, in very limited numbers.
Lovely.
I haven't really said much about the album, really, have
Well, give me a minute. I might get that opportunity to do that. Because the next question is, can you talk a bit more about the lyrics on this release?
Yeah, shortly before I started writing for this album, which would have been the year before last, my mum died, and I felt very, very inspired to write. So a lot of songs were flowing at that point, loads of lyrics, and in the end I wrote the whole album. It's not all about her, but two of the songs are. We had some songs written prior to this. We had quite a lot of songs actually, and but nothing solid was really happening. So in the end, I decided I'll write the whole album in one hit, and we'll get the whole thing recorded and get it done, and that's what we did. But yeah, the lyrics, they deal with my mother, who, as I say, died recently. She had Alzheimer's, but she didn't die from that. And the lyrics touch on that. They touch on the way that she looked after me and my sister when we were little, and various other aspects of our relationship with her. There's various things that the lyrics touch on. Things that I've experienced in my life, I would say, generally. But I have to look through the songs. But yeah, I mean, take the first song, The Liar and the Fool. That's really about someone that comes in and manipulates people to follow them, and in the end it leads to a massacre in this particular song. And it's the way that people can be misled by a manipulative liar. That's basically what the song's about. That can happen on a much smaller level in people's lives, and it can be disastrous for them. Wolf is about the nagging, the feeling that there's something evil out to get you, but it's just in your head. You know, that's what that's about. Lavender Garden was about my mum. When you look back, it is about looking back on your life and whether you feel like you've achieved what you want to achieve. It means various things, but I won't go into the whole thing. Another Light talks about the light that you felt you had in your life has diminished, there are other lights that you can find to give you meaning and to give you a new purpose in life. The Last Lullaby, again, is about my mum. No Time is about really the modern world and the way it is and what we're losing because of that. And it talks about ways that we can step out of that. And The Judges is really about, it's a bit more complicated, that one. It's about the way, if you step out, when you step away from certain beliefs, you can be very badly judged by people for the stupidest little thing. And again, that comes from an experience from my life. But that kind of puts it in a nutshell, but there's a lot more meaning behind the songs, I would say, than what I've just said. But that gives a little overview.
Have a listen for
the full
experience.
Yeah.
So you've already said about the cover art for the album was done by Matthew Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
Can you explain any more about what's on there, what the images mean?
There are various images in this. I think the key image there is this line here: lost in memories, lost in grief. This poor person here is walking in these ruins and remembering the life that she had. And there are various things on the cover that point to the other songs, such as Wolf here, No Time. There's various things, but I'll let you find them yourself. But that was an idea that Simon had to incorporate into the artwork, and Matthew kindly did that for us. But yeah, he did a lovely job of that, I think.
It's
Very
like
pleased.
Where's Wally, but for Doom.
Yeah, Doom, Where's Wally? Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Right, next question is, can you share insights into your cooperation with Ardua Music?
Ardua Music are a Doom label based in Spain, and they heard the album, really enjoyed it, listened to it a few times, and decided they definitely wanted to put it out, which we were very pleased about. And David, who runs the label, has been very involved with the band since that decision, and it's been really good. We've set up a WhatsApp group, we had a Zoom meeting, various things, so we knew exactly where everything was heading at any point. So that's been great, and he's been great. So yeah, very happy with that so far.
Excellent. Right, I can answer this one, but I will allow you to. What do you do for your livelihood outside of music?
You can answer it if you want.
No, because I say something rude.
What's,
Ian is retired, but what do you do day to day?
well, I was a train driver, a freight train driver, which means a lot of crazy shifts, and in the end you kind of get to a point where you can't cope with it anymore, I did anyway. So yeah, when I could possibly do so, I did retire. I am interested in railways, and so I built myself a little railway in the garden. It's a lot of fun, but as well quite useful for moving things around. And so I spend a lot of time in the garden doing that and looking after the garden, which is quite big. And so I don't earn any money anymore. I get a little bit of a pension. Apart from that, I've got my music as an interest, as a hobby, but again, there's no money involved in that at all. So yeah, that's most of it really, I think. Looking after the house and the garden is generally what I do.
Living your best life in Wales.
Mm-hmm. In the countryside.
Indeed. Right. The next question is, what obstacles have you faced as a musician and how did you overcome them?
I think you've missed a question.
Oh no, I've missed one.
That's a good job I'm on the ball.
The next question is, when did you first discover your interest in metal music?
When I was 12, I think. I was 12 or 13. I think I was 12 still, and I heard Saxon on the radio. And as soon as I heard it was And the Band's Played On, which was in the charts at the time, as soon as I heard it, it was like I loved it straight away, and that's what got me into metal to start with. I went out and bought the single. I think the only single I had before that was Adam and the Ants, Stand and Deliver. So yeah, got into Saxon, and then Priest, Maiden, and various metal and prog bands at the time, and a little bit of post rock and goth stuff as well. So yeah, did I say post punk? Or I did say
post rock, I think.
There wasn't even such a thing then, was there? A little bit of post punk, I should have said.
You were a pioneer in the genre before you even knew it.
Post punk and goth, Bauhaus, bands like that. I was into back then as well. But yeah.
Cool. Right, rewind.
Oh, I was into Sabbath as well when I was very young, and I think that's what gave me a taste for doom in the first place. When I got a bit older, I got into Trouble, the band Trouble,
and
Candlemass, bands like that. Not too much trouble. No trouble with the police, apart from riding my bike on the pavement once. That's about as far as I got. And
Rebel.
getting some points for going past a amber light. Anyway, where were we?
I'm going back to the question that I asked before because I messed up the order. But what obstacles have you faced as a musician, and how did you overcome them?
Lots of obstacles. And I've been doing it for 35, at least 35 years, haven't I? So, more than 35 years. So, I'll be here all day. But, yeah, I'd have to choose one, really. I think generally finances have been an obstacle. So everything that I've ever done with music has been, apart from when I first started with Seventh Angel, we were on a label that sort of paid for things, but ever since that, it's been the band paying for recordings and things like that. So it's always been what we could afford to do at the time. It's always been governed by that. There's never been total freedom to do what we want. We can't spend loads of money on advertising, which these days you kind of have to do if you want to get ahead as a band. Whereas we're happy where we are. We don't expect to become famous at any point. We just want people to listen to the music, and that's it. So yeah, I'd say finances are often a bit of an obstacle, and you overcome them. The money just eventually comes in from, you sell a bit of merch, you get enough to pay for a recording, you do the recording, you sell a bit of merch, and it carries on like that. It rolls on, sort of thing, and that's about it.
The next question is interesting. Is there a specific non-metal genre or artist you'd love to collaborate with?
Wow.
You've done a lot of non-metal stuff anyway. So.
Yeah, I collaborated with Martin Bowes and with Attrition, which was great. When I record with Martin, I'll go to his place in Coventry and record a bit of guitar, but not metal guitar. It's distorted, but it will generally be various effects and noises and doing weird things with the guitar. And he'll record it and use bits he wants. And on the last Attrition album, there's a couple of tracks with my guitar on. And it's often years after I've recorded it that it appears. But yeah, that's always good fun. I don't know about anyone specific that I'd like to collaborate with.
Do you know what I reckon?
Go on.
My Silent Wake, Mike Oldfield.
Yeah, well, I've always loved Tubular Bells. Has always been one of my favourite albums. So, yeah, I mean, if he fancied a collaboration, let's face it, Mike, you could only benefit from a collaboration with My Silent Wake. It might introduce your music to more fans. There we go.
And how do you perceive the evolution of metal music over the years?
That's a difficult one. I think I don't want to be overly, my taste in music. For me, a lot of modern metal doesn't necessarily do much for me. Some does. I mean, especially doom and some black metal and more experimental, maybe alternative bands. But the sort of more mainstream bands, I wouldn't say generally do much for me. But then, who am I to say? If there's people enjoying them, then they've obviously got, they've got a purpose there. But how do I perceive it? Goodness knows. It's like everything else. Everything musically has just branched out like a tree. It's just gone in so many directions. At least now, I think there's something for everyone, and there's a lot for everyone. So if you enjoy a specific style, you can find it, and you'll find quite a few bands in that style. Whereas years and years ago, decades ago, you might have 4 or 5 bands playing a certain thing. So there's a lot more variety now for people. I don't know. That's probably as far as I'd go with that, really. Rapid fire.
Yeah, are you ready? Or do you
Rapid fire.
Do you want to rest?
I don't do anything quickly, really.
Well, you're going to have to.
Okay.
Is this midnight?
Yeah.
Right. Rapid fire.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Thoughts on AI generated cover art?
It's up to the bands. If they can't afford to pay for anything, they can do that, can't they? It might not look very good. Probably better off doing a drawing or using a photo. If they haven't got the money for anything, it'd probably look a lot better in my eyes. I don't think AI art looks great, but
Next, most memorable concert you've attended?
oh wow.
Quick!
Black Sabbath in '97 was amazing. I went to see Bauhaus, that was amazing. There's
Saxon
been
at
so many,
Bloodstock.
Saxon at Bloodstock. There's been so many over the years. It's impossible. It's impossible. But yeah, there's a few. There's a few. That'll do.
Well, this one's going to be more difficult. The greatest album of all time.
Well, I could name. The best two probably for me would be, as I mentioned, Tubular Bells. That's always I've always loved it since I first heard it, and Zeppelin 4. Again, always loved that since I first heard it. So I'll go for them.
Right. Next question. I know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
12 midnight studio session or a 6 a.m. rehearsal?
Yeah, midnight would be better for
You
me.
don't do 6
I'm not
a.m.,
very
do
good
you?
in the mornings. Again, that was the problem with the trains. So yeah, not great for me.
And your favourite non-rock metal song?
Oh, I've got tons. Because I love folk music. I love goth. There's too many. I don't know. What do you think? Have you got?
Steel Ice Band?
Could be one of theirs. Black Maiden Minor. That's a great song.
And again, Mike Oldfield.
Yeah, Fairport Convention, Tamlin, something like that. I mean, there's just too many to even think about, really. We're nearly at the end, look.
Yeah, we're at the end of the quick fire. Did you cope okay?
I coped okay, I think.
Good.
I always think of tons of things after these things. So, I mean,
You can do some edits.
I'm not
Just
going to
you
edit this.
Shouting.
I'm not going to edit it at all. I'm going to keep my burping. I'm going to keep everything.
So the last question is, what are the future plans for My Silent Wake?
I think what I'd like to do, because next year is our 20th anniversary, I'd like to put out another compilation, but one with tracks that we've never put out on compilations before. I mean, we had the major compilation we put out was for the 10-year anniversary, which was an Unbroken Threnody, but the new compilation, I don't think I'd want to put any of those tracks on, just have it as a whole new compilation, but starting from the start of the band to where we are now, that's what I'd like to do, but we'll see what happens. I'd like to also record at least one new track, and there's a couple of old songs I wouldn't mind re-recording, which I know is controversial, but I think we could add a lot more to them, so maybe that's it. And some gigs next year for the anniversary. Those are the main things, I think.
Exciting stuff. Well, thank you so much, Ian Arkley, for
Thank you,
speaking
Sarah
to me.
Andy. It's nice
It's been
to.
a very professional time.
It's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet
we've
you.
been
I mean, I
married
probably
for a
won't
while.
see you again for
I'll
at
be in the
least 5
garden.
minutes.
I'll be in the garden.
Yeah.
Tight,
But it's blown my mind meeting Ian Arkley from
Well,
my
you
side.
know a bit more about me now, don't you?
I do. I didn't know
and
anything
so
about
do
you
they.
before. So.
So thank you to Antichrist. And I never thought I'd be thanking the Antichrist. thank you to Antichrist, and if you've got any sense at all or taste,